In this video, I'm going to teach you how to master Neville Goddard's state akin to sleep, which is SATS. It's a technique where you can manifest anything you want to come into your life after doing it one time. And Neville Goddard even stated towards the end of his career that that's all it takes. All it takes, if you can get yourself into the state akin to sleep, you can manifest anything you want to come into your life after one impression with the subconscious mind. And essentially, the state akin to sleep is this little area in between being conscious and being unconscious and going into the subconscious. So this little area I like to call the drift. And when you can have control of the direction of your attention in this state, you can kind of act as if and create this new version, or you being the person that has everything that you desire or something specific that you desire, having it, feeling it within this drift in between being conscious and being unconscious with the subconscious mind. And as you create this feeling state within this drift and you carry it over into the subconscious, it's going to happen every single time. But it can be tricky sometimes to get into this state because usually we're conscious all the time. And as we go into this drift, we don't have control of the direction of our attention. But I found a secret to this. I found something that I have been doing that's been working very, very well and very quickly with this and has increased my percentage of manifesting things after doing it one time. But before I get into this technique, I want you to make sure before you do this that you know exactly what you want, because even Neville Goddard stated so many times throughout his lectures and throughout all of his books that the first element to manifestation is to have a burning desire for something that you want. And that should be something very specific. So find something very specific, get it in your mind, write it down, exactly what you want and exactly what this looks like to you. And kind of play out a mental drama in your mind or a mental rehearsal of what this would look like and what it would feel like if you already had this, and who would you be, and how would you view the world if you already had these. So play around with this mental drama specifically with your manifestations and find out exactly what you want. And another reason why it's important to have a burning desire and why Neville Goddard stated that is because it's going to take some discipline from you and some consistency to create a mental rehearsal. And you must have a burning desire and you must die to your old self and create this new version of you, because essentially when you have a desire to be someone new, you are going to die to your old self and create this new version of you in your imagination in SATS and in this drift in between being conscious and being unconscious, but still having control of the direction of your attention. And sometimes this burning desire is going to create this motivation within you to hold this feeling within you and create this mental rehearsal, this mental drama that you're going to be creating in your mind, in your imagination, as you're falling asleep at night. So essentially what it needs to be is something that excites you, something that you truly, truly desire. Like for an example would be winning the lottery, something that would really, really excite you and would really, really push you to that next level to really understand, okay, so I want to win the lottery, so I have to create a mental rehearsal that emulates me winning the lottery. And how does that feel? And people congratulating me during this mental rehearsal on my success of winning the lottery. And this is going to create this excitement within you that's really going to get you going and motivated to really work on this and get into this mental rehearsal, create it, make it real, bring all of your senses in, even individually if you want to. Bring in one sense at a time into your mental rehearsal till you make it real. So get your mental rehearsal ready before you attempt to go into SATS. So you can do this and prepare an hour before, 30 minutes before. Just get something that you can create that's ahead of the event. Something that you'd like winning the lottery. It's 3 months after you won the lottery, and now you've bought everything that you wanted to buy. You've given away money that you wanted to give away, and all of your family and friends are congratulating, like, oh my gosh, everyone's just ecstatic because you won the lottery. Okay, so you have all of this money now, and how does that feel? And who are you? And how do you view the world? This is going to excite you. It's going to motivate you to do the scene, to create this scene and go into SATS and really, really do the work here and put the work in with your imagination, because you can't just have a lazy, unconcentrated mind and go into this without any motivation. Find something that truly, truly excites you and get really specific with it. So the next step here, after you have figured out what you desire and you've kind of created a mental rehearsal of the things and how it's going to feel and what it's going to look like had you already won the lottery or whatever it is that you desire, the next thing that I want you to do is find a ball of some kind. It can be a tennis ball, it could be an apple, it can be an orange, it can even be a golf ball, it can be any sort of ball, something that you can hold in your hands as you're laying in bed. Or as you're sitting in a recliner, in a chair, or you're in a meditative position where you're going to go into SATS. So you're preparing for all this. You know what you desire. You have created a visual scene. You know what it feels like. You've already rehearsed the scene, and now you have your tennis ball in your hand. And what I want you to do is you lay down in bed and you close your eyes. You take 20 deep breaths. You disconnect yourself from the three-dimensional world. And then I want you to say this to yourself 5 to 10 times after you take 20 deep breaths. I want you to say, I know my world is artificial. I know it is a simulation, and I know that I can create anything that I want. And I want you to say this inwardly 5 to 10 times and just disconnect yourself from the sensory impression world and your three-dimensional world. You're completely disconnecting in this state. Your eyes are closed. You took 20 deep breaths and you're repeating this inwardly. And you're going to lay in a position that you normally wouldn't sleep in. So if you usually sleep on your back, sleep on your side. If you normally sleep on your side, sleep on your back, or vice versa, or a position that you normally wouldn't sleep in. You're not going to be uncomfortable, but you're not to fall asleep right away. This is something where you're going to take some time to get into this state akin to sleep. You're going to disconnect from the three-dimensional world, and then you're going to hold the ball in your left or right hand, depending on which side of the bed that you sleep on. If you sleep on the right side of the bed and you're sleeping on your side, and while you're doing your mental rehearsal, I want you to lean that ball in your hand over the side of the bed. So as you're laying there, you're preparing, you're taking all of these steps, and you're leaned over, you already have your mental rehearsal played out. After you take your 20 deep breaths, you do your affirmations, you're living in a simulation, it's artificial, and that anything is possible to you. You play your mental rehearsal. Now you have won the lottery. How does it look? How does it feel? What is happening within your imagination in this mental rehearsal? And you create this scene as real as the three-dimensional world in your imagination, as if it's already happened. And you keep repeating this scene. So you're going to create this scene about 10, 15 to 20 seconds long of the end, 3 months after you have already won the lottery or whatever your desire is. And then you recreate that scene over, you loop it over in the scene over in a loop. Every 20 seconds, you replay the scene over and over and over and over. And as you start, you're going to be in a conscious state. But eventually, as you're looping this scene, you are going to go into the state akin to sleep, and you're going to know in that moment, because this is going to be in the back of your mind. As you're holding the ball over, you know you're going to fall asleep, or you know you're going to drop the ball as soon as you fall asleep. So this is in your subconscious now. And no matter what happens when you're in a conscious state and you're going into an unconscious state, meeting the subconscious mind, you enter this drift, or you go into SATS every time you go to sleep. But who are you in this state? And do you have control of the direction of your attention during this state? But you always go into it. So as you're replaying this mental rehearsal in your mind, you're going to become conscious of this state because of your awareness, this feeling in the back of your mind that has been impressed into the subconscious that you're holding this ball. And you're not to drop this ball. You know you're going to fall asleep. So as soon as you go into this drift, you're going to catch yourself in the drift before you drop the ball. And as soon as this happens, this awareness clicks right before you drop the ball, right before you fall asleep, you're going to be in the state akin to sleep. And it's going to be in the back of your mind, and you're going to catch yourself and you're not going to be conscious, but you're not going to be unconscious or asleep, but you're still going to have control of the direction of your attention. And when you catch yourself, you're still going to have the ball in your hand, and you could still hold the ball, and you're not going to be uncomfortable, you're not going to be comfortable, and you're not going to really have a desire to move, but you're going to have control of the direction of your attention. Now, in this state, you're going to create that mental rehearsal of the end. It's going to be very simple in this state because you're not going to be conscious. So the three-dimensional world is now gone. It's not going to be there anymore. You're not going to have any limitations to what you can believe or what you can't believe or what you can experience or what you consent to be true of your world. All of that is gone. You're in a different world now. You're in between being conscious and being unconscious, and you're in the drift. You are in SATS. So now you play out your mental rehearsal. Now you have placed yourself in the drift, and now you are conscious in this state. Now you can create the mental rehearsal. And then you replay the scene over and over and over and over and over in your mind, and then you will fall asleep in that point. And after that, you're going to drop the ball when you have landed that successfully. And when you drop the ball, you can wake up, you can put the ball up and go right back to sleep. And then you have landed SATS. You have created that event to happen in your world. And that is truly how to shock time sense. It's actually when you activate the positron, which is a positive running electron that Richard Feynman won the Nobel Prize on. They actually photographed it in the cosmos. And what it is it's a backwards running electron, and it goes into the future. And when time sense is shocked, it goes back to where you haven't been, to where you are now. And then once it comes back in reverse, it goes backwards in time. So once you shock time sense with the future event, it comes back to you, and then you're led to that scene in the future. But this is how you master the skill of getting into the drift or mastering SATS, the state akin to sleep. That is the end of this video. I love you guys very much. And I'm also going to put a sleep meditation on the screen for you now that can also assist you. You can plug into that as you're going into the state akin to sleep to create a very passive state as you're going into SATS, as you're holding the ball. This can also assist you with the alpha waves and the theta waves. But they are more beneficial if you can use headphones. But if not, they still will work. But they are more effective if you do use headphones with those. All right, guys, I love you, and I will see you in the next one.